Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to Mondays with Mr. Happy, aka Mr. Happy Mondays, the weekly Q&A show where you ask me questions and I answer them. If I sound different, look different, I actually just woke up like 20 minutes ago. I decided to sleep in today and stream late, so I'm recording this early in the day. So like I haven't even had my coffee yet. Like I just got it. It's right over here. My breakfast is right here. Some oats and barley, some almonds, some almond milk, as well as some blueberries and a couple other things in here. So I'm still just waking up. But I wanted to record this early because I'm gonna have a busy afternoon. So apologies if you asked the question late in the day, but you waited till Sunday. You know, you took your chances at that point. But because of that, I want to get right into the Q&A, because what else am I going to say other than 16s this week? And I'm going to be posting videos. Gonna try to be spoiler free. I say try to because sometimes people are easily offended by like the most random of small details, like the existence, like, oh, Clive's ultimate weapon is this, or you can get Clive's ultimate weapon now. It's like, Clive has an ultimate weapon. How could you dare tell me this? You know, like stuff like that. So I'll try, but like, who knows, you know, what people are going to think. Bye, Aloha, by the way. So let's get into it. Thanks to our sponsors over on Patreon. They don't have to support, they choose to. Everything is available for free on my channel. So go right ahead and just enjoy the video, like, subscribe, you know, the usual YouTube shenanigans. And also, don't forget our discount links in the description and all that stuff for SteelSeries and Advanced GG. Anyway, let's get into the Q&A because I actually have like another video or two to work on before I go live as well. Plus, I want to finish breakfast. All right, hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Hello, Haps. Hi. Hoping Final Fantasy 16 will be here sooner. I mean, by the time you're seeing me answer this, it's like 3 days away. So I think we'll be all right. Hoping Final Fantasy 16 will be here sooner. Quick question for this week. What's your favorite crafting quest line and why? I love all of them equally, because I have done none of them. Like, I've done them, but I just don't. Okay, so I did, like, the Realm Reborn ones I watched the cutscenes for way back when. I've not watched a crafting cutscene since. Like, I've seen some on some streams, and I did the beginning of some of the Crystalline Mean stuff, and I kind of remember it. But my answer is I love them all equally, because I barely remember and or didn't do most of them. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Hello. Hi. Do you think we'll get patch 6.45 before NA FanFest or after it? Timing would suggest we get it, I think, a week and a half before. I'd have to double check my calendar. But yeah, before should be the answer. But we don't know. Like, they could just say, oh, actually, we're going to wait till after FanFest. Like, they could just do that. It's their game, their patch. They can do whatever they want. But my prediction, based on the pattern, I actually think I remember originally predicting it for the week of FanFest, which is why I thought maybe they would push it back, but I think it's a week and a half before. Again, I'd have to double check my calendar. But yeah, definitely before would be trending their usual schedule, but I just wouldn't be surprised if they went the other way. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Hello, Happy. Hi. Been following you since late 2021. Hey, nice. When I first got into 14, I really enjoy your content. Thank you. This is my first question I've asked you your Q&As, so that's 16 related. Try to keep it somewhat brief. I'm sure you've seen the theories about the potential 9th icon in the game and how Leviathan does. Yeah. So the Leviathan stuff is very much, and again, this is diving into trailer related stuff. So if you guys haven't seen the trailers, like that's what this is referring to right now. There's a mural with Leviathan in one of the trailers for the game. In fact, it's a very major mural that is like featured as like the pinnacle like drama point of the trailer. I've got a few theories about that, and I here's the thing. I think there are more than 9 icons. I think the world probably used to have like dozens of them, and that's what it's going to allude to. And that they've just all started to vanish over time. Like, that's just the main villain has been like eliminating the icons of the world for literally like hundreds or thousands of years or something like that. There is more to it, but I don't want to speak too much on it because it involves cutscenes from the prologue demo. Just know that there are other things alluding to the existence of Leviathan. And I would pay close attention to those things as you're playing throughout the early sections of the game. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. I've been a subscriber. Oh, they didn't say hello. I could see it ends with a keep up the good work, so that's kind of like a hello. It's just at the end. I'll take it. I love the guides and stuff. That being said, I want to get back into tanking, but I'm nervous because the reason why is there was a ninja that kept going ahead of the group and the Astro that wasn't healing right. Oh yeah, you don't care about those people. You gotta, it's a number one rule of 14, when there are dumb people, you just ignore the dumb people. Like, if people just do stuff like that, you just say, you're trust me, my words could get much more colorful. I'm trying to not to because it's fairly early in the in the video. That being said, yeah, you just don't care. Like, I'd never let other people define your fun. Like, yeah, if you get, you know, railed on a little bit, maybe look to improve or see what you could do better or different, but you don't let that stop you. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Hey, Haps. Hi. Getting right to it. Sure. Do you think Square Enix would ever update their gameplay tutorials, maybe introduce some stricter item level requirements? No, they've already spoken about this and done a tiny bit, but they're never going to do more than they've already done. Way too many players these days not knowing the first thing about their job. I can tell you this right now. You could tell everyone what their exact rotation is in the game, and people wouldn't improve at all. Improvement is a matter of personal desire, and a lot of people just don't desire to be better. It literally doesn't matter. People think it's the game's lack of tutorials or the game's not challenging enough early on. No. People genuinely don't want to improve. You can be better than those things allow you to be before ever doing a harder piece of content. And then you could do the harder content and literally learn nothing. You could, again, look up every guide. You could look up everything on the map. It doesn't matter. Some people have no desire to improve. And on the flip side, some people are not that good at improving. They have different ways of learning. They take longer to learn. They take longer to develop muscle memory. So it's not even just about a desire. Sometimes it is genuinely about one's own learning ability, which is not something you can really hold against them. They have to learn somehow, and they have to learn in the way that makes most sense for them. But, okay, let me rephrase, though. Could they and should they? I think so. Do I think it would actually solve the thing that you think it would? No. Hashtag Happy Mondays with Mr. Happy. Hey, Haps. Hi. Looking forward to the 16 content on the channel. Damn right you are. So I've been playing Red Mage for the new Savage tier. Do you have any advice for moving after a cast? The character keeps facing the boss after I finish the cast to screw up my movement. Well, I mean, yeah, you have to be looking at a boss. You have to be looking at an enemy in order to cast at them. It sounds like you're moving with WASD. I would never advise moving with WASD. Depending on what your most comfortable thing that you can do is, you can either use right click and left click more, but honestly you should be strafing. Granted, or you could just be using legacy controls, because what it sounds to me is like you're letting the character, and trust me, this happens to me too because I play with standard. Actually, I think you would benefit a lot from legacy controls. I think that might be the #1 thing to look at on caster is legacy controls. But also, I would just I would get really used to strafing or using right click and left click to move a little bit more when you can, because those things definitely help solve the issue. But it sounds like you could definitely benefit with some practice in legacy controls. Hashtag busy days with Mr. Happy. You have no idea. Hey, Haps. Hi. Skipped a few weekly queues, but always turning into your answers. Hope the LA trip and the flood of 16 stuff has been treating you well. Oh, it has been. I had some time to wonder about the next expansion. I'm honestly more and more excited. Sure, we had our far travels with the Far East, other shards. I don't know, like the idea of possibly going to Australia. Yeah, going to Mrhappy. Think they'll ever revitalize old areas more than usual, though? No. No. Because they want to keep... Here's the thing. The only way they do that is if whatever changes they make don't actually change the way you traverse them much at all. Because they would instance them, similar to what they did in Heavensward with Alexander showing up and a few other locations where they've done it as well. So, yeah. No, I don't think they would, in all honesty. Ivy is wilding there in the back. Look at she's having zoomies. Hey, Ivy. Come here. Ivy. Look at that. See? Cat on command. Hashtag Mondays with you'll read anything in the hashtag, won't you, Mr. Happy? Well, not anything. I would stop if it was something truly nefarious. Hey, Haps. Hi. Got me a P10S clear. Hey, grats. I thought the fight feels harder than P8S Phase 1 to me. Yeah, I definitely don't agree with that assessment. Maybe even harder than all P8S. Definitely don't agree with that assessment. Specifically to execute and not necessarily to prog or uncover the puzzle. No. There's a text wall for that, but I'm on a time schedule, so all I'll say is absolutely not. that's my take. That's my response. Hashtag MHM. I like it. Hey, Haps. Hope you're doing all right. I'm doing all right. You doing all right? I'm doing all right. Couple quick questions. It must be. This is the entire text. Do you think the Bravely Default titles hold up against the pre-Final Fantasy VII title series? I hate Bravely Default, if I'm not going to lie. So, hate's a strong word. I just was looking for a one-syllable word. Let me rephrase. I find the first Bravely Default game unbearable. The actual RPG elements are cool. I can't stand the characters. And more than anything, I cannot stand the writing of Bravely Default 1. It is so much unnecessary back and forth between characters that does nothing to move the story forward. It's fluff. It fills it in. And you know what? I'm not even that surprised, because another game that I do like, Octopath Traveler, does this to a lesser degree. It's the same it's not the same dev team, but it is the same studio. So there being some overlap in that doesn't actually surprise me that much. But Bravely Default is so bad to the point where I just had to stop. It would be like 15 minutes of villain monologuing for me to beat them in 2 turns and move on with my life. Like, I didn't even get to chapter 5. I didn't even get to the part where it's supposed to get unbearable, where everyone tells me, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you quit playing at the looping part or whatever. Which means I didn't play Bravely Second, which I've actually had people tell me to skip Bravely Default to play Bravely Second. I'm like, that's weird. And Bravely Default 2 was okay. It didn't have as much of the writing issue, a little bit still, but something much closer to how much Octopath does it. But unfortunately, it had some characters and some work on villains and characters on your team that just weren't that fun. I suppose a lot of decent villains, a lot of good villains, and a couple of the protagonists, Elvis in particular, big favorite of mine. But yeah, no, I don't really like Bravely Default at all, so no. I would definitely not say it holds up on a personal opinion matter. Also, honestly, Bravely Default 1 and Bravely Second, I'd hate that, like, kind of, like, stocky, like small body, you know, big head style. It's not even chibi. It's like something else. I just feel like it hasn't aged well. Bravely Second was a little better on that front, but still not a huge fan of that. Same thing they do for, like, Final Fantasy 3 3D and Final Fantasy 4 3D, which is the same studio, again. Question 2, how easy would you say is to complete a fresh Shadowbringers relic today? Honestly, outside of Delubrum, easy. Delubrum being there makes it infinitely worse. So, yeah, you're going to slow down a lot as soon as you get to that part. And even just completing it once is annoying. Like, yeah, you queue in and you get whoever you get. But, like, yeah, it's definitely harder than it should be. And again, I really think they need to revisit that. Hashtag Mondays with Happy Strats. No. Hey, Haps. Hi. Sorry, I just took a bite of my breakfast. Coming from the State of the Realm vid, and always just a point made where the ultimates get talked about, while Blue Woo would be such a cool idea. My main thing is, how would you go about doing the LB? You just give Blue Mage a mechanic. I mean, honestly, Diamondback takes care of the tank LB. They could just literally give them an attack that does it. Like, it's not hard. You know, there's something that's melee LB equivalent, something that's healing LB equivalent, something that's tank LB equivalent, and you're done. That's it. Yo, my cats are wildin' this morning. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Hello, Mr. Hi. I know you'll be putting out a lot of 16 stuff. Will you be avoiding spoilery titles and thumbnails? Yeah, like I said, I'm going to try, but some people are so easily offended by spoilers, I just can't be worried about. Like, we've known about Benedicta and Garuda for like a year and a half now. And I put out a trailer of the demo boss that we've seen in the trailers a dozen times. A demo that represents things that I talked about months ago on the channel. And people are like, spoilers. And I'm just like, listen, you can't enforce your bullshit spoiler like criteria on a YouTube channel. If you're easily offended by spoilers, that's on you at this point. Now, that being said, like if I say, oh, Titan boss fight, You know there's a Titan boss fight, so the spoiler and thumbnail wouldn't even be a thing unless I show you something that wasn't in a trailer or whatnot. But if I show Hugo and say, Hugo boss fight, or I show Titan, I say Titan boss fight, that's not a spoiler. You know those are in the game. I'm not speaking about you in particular, by the way. You is generalized, but yeah. I will be, but I can only do so much because some people are way too easily offended. So if I offend those people, I can't help them. Same thing happened with 15. Some of my 15 videos are my most watched videos on the channel. So what are you going to do? Hashtag Merry Merry City of Mondays with Mr. Happy. I like it. Hey, Haps. Hi. I was speculating on potential story beats for 7.0. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of knowledge of past Q&A. Dev posts I started in 5.2 and missed quite a few. You don't need to go back that far. Just look at the Shadowbringers ending in-game, and that tells you a lot. Having said, if the devs ever mentioned a no-fly zone when it comes to having a rejoining as a future plot point in any of the Q&As, no, I don't think they'll ever say we won't ever do that, but a rejoining wouldn't do... Well, A, they're very pointless now, and B, they don't change... Well, let me rephrase. rejoining doesn't necessarily change the source in any particular way, other than whatever disaster causes it, likely reshaping the landscape as an entirety. What a rejoining does is it just basically eats the entire ether of another shard to preserve the source. So all that would really happen would be the world would, like, whatever disaster causes the world to... Aloha, stop, my man. Whatever disaster, it wouldn't change the source, and then that shard would just disappear. Leads to the 13th rejoining. The 13th can't be rejoined. That's like the entire plot line of the 13th since the beginning. It can't be rejoined because it's just too far gone. And not to mention, it was Hydaelyn that would cause a rejoining in the first place. Like, Hydaelyn is the one that has to go, eat the shard. We don't have a Hydaelyn anymore. So that's really not going to be a thing, I don't think. So no, that's likely not. Also, Umbral Calamity, pretty sure that Bahamut's Calamity is an Umbral Calamity. So I don't know that we'd see that again. But yeah, no, the 13th can't even be rejoined. So no. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Hello. Hi. I have a question about raid stuff. Cool. I'm in my first static as the resident. Aloha, stop. He's fucking scratching at my leg. Move. Aloha. Out. Aloha, I need you to move. Pal. Come on. There you go. I gotta nudge him. There we go. Nudged him over to his food. He's just pawing at me. His food bowl's literally right next to me. He just wants my leg to be touching him. I have to yell at him so often because he just claws and bites when he doesn't know what to do. And then I pet him and he's like, oh, okay. Well, now that that's done, gonna go eat. Anyway, I primarily played Machinist, but only now while actually running proper burst openers. I realize it feels ugly with my ping and controller layout, so I'm looking to swap the Dancer. My DPS cohorts are a Monk, Dragoon, and Summoner. As a fellow Fizz range, which of the two do you recommend? It doesn't matter. Dancer is the easiest to play. So if you're looking to swap, that's the play. Bard, perfectly fine to play. A little bit harder to play. So up to you. But yeah, Dancer's the easy one. Hashtag some days with Mr. Happy. Good day. Hi. Hope you're doing well this week. I'm doing all right. The lighting has definitely improved how healthy you are. Not always. Look, see, now I got the dark on this side because this light right here isn't on right now. So, yeah, we got that. Long-time listener, many times commenter, first-time asker. My question relates to your feelings on crossover content. Hate it. And even the good crossover content, I could just live without. Like the Monster Hunter one, like I'm glad it was really good. And if they're going to do something, I want it to be like that. I don't care for crossover content. And I mean specifically with other non-Final Fantasy titles. I mean, like, you know, Nier and Monster Hunter and Yokai. Like, just don't care. I think about the Niers, disagree with you on the raids themselves. I definitely agree that it robbed us of an expansion worth of world and lore building. The post-release extreme content being heavily filled with fan service, I find much less bothered. Because there's a difference between fan service and crossover. Fan service is taking something that a franchise is known for, some key element of it, and retooling it and repurposing it within Final Fantasy XIV's world. I think they could have done the Four Lords slightly better, but they were characters that were literal nobodies in Final Fantasy IV. So what we have for them in 14 is definitely improved by comparison. Yeah, I mean, they've been doing this for ages. I mean, the Crystal Tower is one giant fan service. Like, there's a seventh, one of our major locations for plot point is in the Seventh Heaven bar. Like, they're used to making references and little, you know, silly fan service things. That's fine. Are there any other Square Enix properties you would like to see? No. Like, I don't mind when we occasionally see, like, for example, we saw the Tactics Ogre boss in Palace of the Dead. We've seen some Tactics Ogre in Final Fantasy Tactics Gear. Stuff like that. Stuff that is just like, oh, this is inspired by or based on this, and it just kind of pops up randomly in a patch, and it doesn't really do or take away anything. That I don't mind, but I don't care specifically for crossover events. I just don't. And do you think Square Enix will ever dust off Xenogears? They did for World of Final Fantasy. That hasn't really mattered much at all. And I think that's the only hope you'll ever have to see it again is in World of Final Fantasy. So enjoy that. Hashtag Moon Days with Senor Alegre. I guess that's happy. Unfortunately, I don't know. Hi-yo, hope all is well. Hi, say hi to the cats. Well, Aloha is lurching around somewhere, and Ivy's in the back over there. I think you can see. Yep, there she is. All right, well, that's a fun little spot for you, Ivy. Never seen her going there, actually. Was wondering what you expect from the game moving forward in terms of level cap. We're going to 100. They already told us we're going to 100. And no merit points. Merit points are dumb. So we're going to level 100. We know that already. We were told that like months and months and months ago. After that, probably a level squish. in all honesty. I don't see any reason to make it any more complicated than that. Because no matter what they do, I want this to be abundantly clear and why merit points would be a terrible idea. And, well, not even terrible, it would just never happen. They are not going to make you grind more power once you hit max level in terms of your character getting stronger. Whatever you start the expansion at is where everyone will start the expansion in terms of your character power. Whatever you finish the story at would be the end of your power curve. And then it's just gear from raids and stuff after that. So you'll never have, whatever it is, it has to be done by the time the expansion story's done. And they're probably never going to deviate from that. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Lolly ho, Haps. Lolly ho. You mentioned that in the past crossover events are not considered canon. I believe you had also mentioned this coming up from a dev. Yeah, Koji Fox mentioned it on stage at the Stormblood? Was it Stormblood? It was mentioned at a fan fest in particular. So I have to go look. Because I remember us all talking about it. I mean, because you got to remember Ethos and I, when Ethos was still around the community, you know, we made very particular note of that. But there's so many. I'd have to go through and double check that. I'm almost certain it happened at a fan fest, however, but it's been so long. Because I remember because they were answering, was it when they announced the Monster Hunter one? No, it might not have been. Because they received a question. I'm almost certain they were on stage for said question where they said that, you know, how do you go about writing crossover events into the lore? And Koji Fox's answer was, I don't. We treat it all as non-canon. And it was a very simple answer, and I have to find it. But it might have been a PAX, actually, because they were on stage. And that's when it happened. It was somebody in the crowd, I'm almost certain, asking the question to Koji Fox on stage. So it would have had to have been a fan fest or a PAX or something. But yeah, I'd have to go back through it. But I was always like, thank God. That makes things so much easier for us. Hashtag Mondays with Mr. Happy. Hi, sir. Mr. Happy, sir. Hi. I started at the very tail end of Shadowbringers, so next month FanFest will be my first. Can you break down what each of the FanFest reveals? Sure can, and I am planning on doing this in a video, but you get a little heads up. The first FanFest will be all high-level information. High-level meaning that it is the very basic of basic. They will tell you there will be exciting new raids. Probably won't tell you what the exciting new raids will be. Challenging new dungeons. Maybe show you one, but most likely nothing. The level cap will increase. You know, there will be new jobs, but we won't tell you what jobs there will be. You will get about a 1.5-minute teaser trailer of the expansion. And usually we get like 1 or 2 interesting details near the end. We also usually get a peek about something that will be coming pre-expansion during the North American Fan Fest. Then the second and third one basically expand upon those points, but dive deeper into select ones. There's usually a new job reveal at the second one. And then they usually like maybe show what the raid theme is, or maybe show what the Alliance raid theme is, or maybe some sort of, oh, you know what else? North America, if there's ever going to be something like Eureka or Bozja or some sort of like major like new content, we usually get the first mention of it and a few more details about it. So that is another small detail that we usually get. And then, yeah, the second one expands upon usually most of the game-related things, maybe shows off some of the new areas that we're going to be seeing, and then the last one is everything else. And the JP one, the final one, is almost always the biggest and most important one. It usually has the majority of the important details, so that's the one you really don't want to miss. Hashtag a happy Monday with some questions. Choose a hello you like. Use the others for askers who forgot theirs. Hi, good day, mate. Ahoy. I will take the ahoy because it reminds me of Chips Ahoy. Will you be uploading your 16 playthrough on the VOD channel? Yes. If so, how long until you upload them? Probably not very long, because I'm probably going to upload them in absolutely massive chunks. And on top of that, there's going to be a ton of stuff on this YouTube channel as well. So be sure to subscribe and enjoy. Hashtag Happy Mondays. Hello, Mr. Happy. Hi. I'm a little confused by the argument to remove chain resing or combat resing. People complain about homogenization, but also want to remove arguably the defining utility of Red Mage in 14. Yeah, unfortunately, that defining utility is one of those utilities that ranges from absolutely useless to way too much of its identity. That is the main problem. I don't think job DPS is even that big a deal, especially not in Anabasios, where DPS is tuned for flexibility, which is where it should be. Yeah, but here's the thing. When it can be tuned for flexibility, yes, but when a job brings more of a utility that... Let me refer... Chain resing is only useful when members on your team, other than you, since you need to be alive, are playing poorly. rewarding a gameplay mechanic that only helps alleviate poor play is not a mechanic that allows for skill expression, which is a mechanic that essentially is arbitrarily taking away from one's own ability to pump, as one may say. Because not only are your teammates dying, it's very likely teammates that are contributing more than you. So now your contribution is making sure they can be alive again, but they'll probably now be contributing less than you, but you're not contributing very much at all. So it's one of those constant issues where if in a perfect bubble, it's perfectly fine, but as soon as any scenario where you have to use it arises, it is equally as useful as it is harmful to the job's design as a whole. So the big thing is if they do not have that, it makes it so that Red Mage as an individual job can contribute in winning situations more fluidly, which is something that generally feels better. Now, removing it outright, I think, is a bit severe. I think that's why most people have been looking to add a cooldown or make it harsher to use in serious endgame content. Because then the flip side of it is we actually kind of want something like that in casual content, which is the majority of Final Fantasy XIV. So it's basically just both sides of the coin you're trying to land on both sides of the coin at the same time when you flip it. And that's a really, really rough place to be. And they've already mentioned it multiple times over that the existence of it makes doing more with Red Mage more difficult. So I think we're at the point where we'd rather see them tone that back and then make it so that they can do something else with Red Mage and not define them by your best when other people are making a mistake. All right, and those are really the last questions, actually. Works for me. Somebody just asked how I was, which, thanks for asking. I'm doing good. A little conversation about the MNK being mouse and keyboard. Never seen that before. M and K with the ampersand or KBM I've seen. I've never seen MNK. So that definitely caught me off guard. A few other comments, things here and there about the healer stuff from last week, the Titan car stuff. And then, what else is there? Yeah, more Red Mage stuff. There was another follow-up question that was literally the Red Mage question again, so I didn't answer it. Sorry to that person, I tuned out. And there was one that was like, it was a 16 spoiler, but it was about the demo in particular, and it's about stuff we've seen in trailers. But because it was asking a very direct question, I also left that one out as well. But anyway, that is going to be a wrap for this week's episode of Mondays with Mr. Happy. I got to get going because I got another video to finish, another Final Fantasy 16 one. I kind of want that out the day I'm recording this and not on Monday. So we'll see. Plus, I have a 14 video, but I'll probably leave that one be for a little bit. Anyway, thank you for watching. Be sure to ask your questions in the comment section of the video below. Please be cognizant of asking about spoilers, about adding tons of spaces. I probably will have beaten 16 by next time I answer questions like this, but we'll see. Either way, thank you for watching. I will see you all in the next one. And until then, take care.